Hello, Eagles Nation. Vincent Focht here, and welcome to a preseason Game 1 review, where this past game for the Birds was not the prettiest thing to say the least, and we're about to cover it all, coming up in a matter of moments, only on Eagles Chats. But before we do so, make sure you like and subscribe to the Eagles Chat YouTube channel, as well as following us on Instagram, @ChatEagles, where you can find daily updates on your Birds. You can also find their Instagram in the description of this Eagles Chat video. But now, let's dive right into it. We're going to first talk on the offense, as that was kind of the main talking point for this past preseason game for the Eagles. As what was the main theme for the Eagles offensive play? Well, you could argue it was the lack of timing or the lack of players being on the same page, as it didn't really seem to matter who was at the helm, whether it was Andy Dalton, Tanner McKee, Sean Payton. Things were just not lining up. There were many times there were throws in front of the receiver or way behind the receiver, or there were many occasions where the throw didn't even make it to its destination, let alone the receiver himself not even turning around at the proper moment. So it was just a topsy-turvy type of game for the Eagles, and one of the main issues was the lack of execution, which was something that the Ravens actually did incredibly well. They played the game very well, really, when looking at it, as what did they do? They kept the Eagles offense off of the field. They kept more pressure on the Eagles defense. And even though the Birds were taking guys in and out with the defense, they still didn't give the Birds any time to establish any ground. So it was something where the Ravens, they had the grit, they had the execution. Therefore, they won, and they kept pounding the Birds. That I can definitely tell you. But yeah, with the Eagles, they had some of the expected preseason mistakes occur, right? With, for example, the penalties, as the Eagles offensive line had some false starts occur. They had a couple of those calls, which again, it's preseason. You expect that to happen. They also had some times where some miscues with blocking the wrong guys. That was something that showed up quite a few times with the Eagles. But I mean, because of sloppy play, therefore you got sloppy stats. The Birds were 0 for 9 on third down. They also didn't pick up their first down until, the second half on their fifth drive of the game. So not exactly the prettiest thing in the world there. And this chart behind me, well, it's not going to help the Eagles out any way possible. That I can definitely say, as the amount of plays snapped off. Ravens 76-40. Baltimore pretty much owns the Birds on every single stat on this board, as the amount of first downs. The Ravens had 31 compared to the Eagles 6. And as well with total yards, well, the numbers say everything, right? I don't need to explain that. So it's just something where, again, at the end of the day, the Ravens, they were the better team. They looked like they wanted to be there, and therefore the results showed. And man, oh man, it was definitely a tough one to watch, that I can tell you. But there's something that I really need to get off of my chest, as I've been hearing an overload of BS these past 48 hours on this guy right here, Sean Mannion, as there's been many people coming out stating that, Sean Mannion, he's just a Kevin Patullo 2.0. He's a Kevin Patullo in disguise. This offense looked horrible. We're going to have an awful season. Mind you, these are the same exact people that were saying around 4 to 5 days in the training camp that this season is going to be a disgrace and a throwaway. I'm sorry. In no way am I going to paint a picture for a team's future off of one preseason game. Matter of fact, it's the first time a lot of these guys have played together. And I'm sorry, if you want to play the game of judging a preseason game and saying that that's going to give determine the future of the team in the upcoming regular season, we can play that game. Oh boy, can we play that game. Let's go back to 2015, where the Eagles had Sam Bradford, right? In the third week in preseason, Bradford had a perfect game, a perfect outing, right? He went 10 for 10, 121 yards, was looking great. Surely it was going to be a great year. No, the 2015 season for the Birds was one of the most forgettable in the 2000s era for the Eagles. That I can definitely say. So if you want to say that the preseason game determines what the future and the regular season looks like, go right ahead. You can keep believing that. You can follow the sheep that believe that as well. But can you do me one favor? Go burrow yourself in a hole and dig yourself back out in March. Can we go at least a full season without hearing this type of BS? That would be so nice to see. And when I hear people talking like this, I actually sit back and I'm like, you know what? These people, they can vote. They can vote. That's how disturbing this is. The people that think this way, they can go and circle something on a ballot. That's nuts. That's nuts, right? But yeah, again, folks, let's bring it back down to earth. I'm not going to paint a picture off of a preseason game. We know it's a vanilla type style of offense that Sean Mannion put out there. He would be absolutely stupid to bring out his big guns in the preseason, to put himself on film, to get figured out before week 1 even gets here. That would be the dumbest thing for any football coach to do, and especially in the NFL. Is that what you people want? You guys want him to put out the big guns in the preseason and then get figured out before week 1? Would that make you all happy that the Eagles would have a nice smooth preseason and then flunk it in the regular season? Would that be nice? Would that make some of you happy? I don't know. I struggle to find out what makes some people happy anymore, especially when it comes to the Philly media. That I can tell you. But man, oh man, I really don't know what to say. I don't know. But let's move on to some positivity, right? As sloppy as this offense played, there was still some good that came out of it. As we saw Darius Cooper, he got 2 receptions for 21 yards. He got 5 targets. It wasn't anything crazy, but still, Cooper was able to come up with some good passes and was able to bring it downfield, right? There was also a time where Cooper had a drop, but at the same time, it was one of those times where he wasn't even expecting the ball, and that's where the timing between the QB and the receiver, well, the rhythm just wasn't there, and we saw that quite a few times during this past preseason game. That I can definitely tell you. We saw some jet sweep type plays. We saw some check downs and some questionable plays where, like, for example, on a 3rd and long, as Andy Dalton, he threw a check down to Grant Calcaterra. It was just confusing things like that where it was like, what in the world is happening? So, I mean, yeah, it was definitely a seesaw type of game. But I said I'd keep it. I want to go to the positives, so let's continue to go with the positives, right? Let's get off the negatives. Eli Stowers, he didn't necessarily have too bad of a game, right? It was nothing special again, but still, he's going to be a guy that we're going to look to see some advancing from, especially in these upcoming couple preseason games, as he's going to be looking to really push himself forward for the tight end position. And as well, we also saw a big-time improvement out of the new offensive lineman for the Eagles, out of the University of Miami. You can probably already guess where I'm going with this. Markel Bell, the 6'4", 364-pound lineman. They literally have a full-on mobile home on the offensive line this year. I mean, this is nuts. This is absolutely nuts. Lane Johnson, we know, he announced that this is looking like it's going to be his final season playing with the Birds in the NFL, the final season in the NFL period before retirement, I should state. Markel Bell, man, oh man, can't wait to see some more out of him in the future. This guy, I mean, absolutely nuts. He shoved down Mike Green of the Ravens, the 2nd-round pick last year for Baltimore. He shoved them down like it was nothing. I mean, this guy, it's just, I don't even know how you can get around something like this. He's a literal boulder on the field. And oh man, what a game by him. He definitely showed that he is going to be something that the coaching staff should have their eyes on. That I can definitely tell you. Can't wait to see more out of him in these upcoming preseason games, as he created gaps extremely well multiple different times. He gave Will Shipley some good running room. So, I mean, hey, Markel Bell, oh man, I cannot wait to see more out of that tank of a player. That I can definitely tell you. But now, let's move off of the offense. Let's move on to the defense. As yeah, for the defense, it was an up and down type game, and it was kind of hard to judge. But there was some good times of players stepping up, and one of them being Epinesa, the defensive end, the new defensive end for the Birds anyway, who came from Buffalo. He had some good plays. He was able to clog up some good gaps, I should say, and hold the edges quite a few times. They had him on one-on-one coverage, man-on-man coverage, but it didn't necessarily work out the greatest in the world, as Epinesa is not necessarily known of having his strength being with man coverage, and they had him one-on-one, and that didn't necessarily work out too well, as he got burnt pretty good. And again, Epinesa, it's not one of his strengths, but still, he did very well up on the line. That I can definitely tell you. So very happy to see that from him. Jeremiah Trotter Jr. Wow, what a game he had. 5 tackles, 2 of those solo, 3 pressures, and 1 sack. I mean, Trotter, my goodness. He is proving more and more each and every day why he should be going out and starting games. And we know last year he was mostly known on the special teams portion of the Birds, but still, I mean, he is putting everything out there. And again, he's proving himself as saying that, why are you putting me out here with these guys? I deserve a starting spot. I'm above these guys. I shouldn't be put out here in preseason. What am I doing out here with them? I should maybe have a couple reps and then be taken out, right? Trotter, every chance he gets, he is putting it all out there. He's making the great play, and he is being beneficial. He's not a liability by any means. And he's reminding me of his dad with some of the hits that he made. Obviously, not as big as his dad was, but still, he is definitely putting it all out there. He also had 2 run stops as well, and this goes for clogging up those gaps. The A gap, he clogged that up a couple of times, which is the gap between the center and the guard. So, oh man, he definitely, I mean, I'm so happy to see it. I hope he gets a starting position and is able to be out there with the Eagles. If it's not just regularly on the defense, hopefully he's back on special teams consistently, because that is definitely a force that you want out there for your defense. Michael Carter, which is competing for a secondary position. He was able to come up with some good plays. We also saw some greatness out of Jahad Campbell, which, by the way, Campbell, he needs to have a big year. Last year, he struggled a lot with consistency, and he wasn't able to have too much of a good showing, right? With the linebacker position as well with the edge, there was not too many opportunities. As we know, with the edge, you had Jalen Phillips there last year, and then, of course, you had with your two big-time guys with the linebacker position, which is what Jahad also plays, with Zach Bond, Nakobe Dean. Obviously, Nakobe Dean is now absent this year, so this needs to be a big-time year for Jahad Campbell, and he's going to be out. You can already guess these next couple of preseason games. Really need to see more out of him. He didn't have too bad of a preseason game, but still, the Eagles, they need to see more out of him. He needs to really put himself out there and show that, yes, he definitely deserves to be a starter. That I can definitely tell you. We saw, oh man, Keely Ringo. I mean, when I see number 7 on the field, the first thing I think is, oh no. The second thing I think, I start looking over my life decisions, and then I start watching the game. That's usually the third thing I do when I see Keely Ringo on the field, is actually watch him play. It's just, I tell you what, I mean, Ringo in general, he every time, for every good play he makes about 10 bad ones, and he got burnt an enormous amount of time on crossing routes this past game, and just in general trying to stay with his man. Now, of course, the big talking point with Ringo was obviously, yes, he got an interception at the back of the end zone, but still, that throw was not great whatsoever. I mean, if he didn't intercept that or didn't get in the way of that throw, I don't know what else to tell you, but I'm not trying to create negativity for Ringo. It's just, I don't want to start getting completely excited about an interception that he made, because, again, for every good play he makes, like I stated, he makes 10 bad ones. I don't know. In my opinion, he should not be on an NFL roster. That's just something I'm going to continue to say, and something I'm going to continue to believe. No matter what happens, I'm not going to really side with him. I'm not going to really bring out a lot of support. Great, he got an interception, but that's not going to change my mind a whole lot. I'm still kind of, I'm clenching up real tight every time I see number 7 on the field. So, yeah, we'll get off of this topic, right? But something that I really do need to mention and really need to bring up is the first timers. Now, I wonder who these guys are, right? Yeah, right here. Joshua Weiroo, and as well, the big man, Uar Bernard, who had their first ever snaps in organized football. I tell you what, not bad whatsoever. They had some big-time mistakes, don't get me wrong, but for their first time playing in an organized football game, it wasn't that bad whatsoever. I mean, Uar Bernard got caught a couple of times because when he gets in his stance, he doesn't get low enough. He's trying to fight with these offensive linemen too high, and he can kind of throw him off balance. But I tell you what, Bernard was able to make some good plays. Literally, his second play ever playing organized football, he was able to hold the fort down and put on good pressure and wrap up the running back that was going through at the time for the Ravens. I mean, this is something where he got a good stop on Adam Randall, who, by the way, was the running back for the Ravens, the main running back for the Ravens this past preseason game. Bernard was able to put a good stop and wrap him up, and it's showing that I definitely think that I see some Drew Mailata in Bernard, because I think that even though obviously Bernard's on defense, Mailata's on offense, right? I get that. I still think that Bernard has a great opportunity to be something big. Joshua Weiroo as well, the new defensive end that they picked up, he was holding the end with a great style, a great job with planting his feet. He got some good runs at the QB for Baltimore. I mean, this is just overall, this is good play that we were seeing out of these guys. I think they're going to create a great future in Philadelphia. Hopefully it's in Philly, because man, oh man, Clint Hurt, the defensive line coach, he's been working with both of these guys big time, especially with Uar Bernard. Hurt's been working with him hugely. Jordan Davis as well has been helping out Bernard, and I have a feeling that we're going to see some big time plays from these guys. Bernard especially, he's going to be making some opposing teams' QBs shiver in their cleats. That I can definitely say in the future, and I'm so excited. Can't wait to see what the rest of this preseason has to hold for them. But that's going to do it for this Eagles chat, and preseason game number 2 coming up right around the corner. Saturday, August 22nd. Yes, once again, 7 o'clock p.m. against the New England Patriots, and this will be held in New England. And folks, we all know what everyone's going to be watching this week. Come Wednesday, the joint practice. The Eagles get to see a certain receiver, A.J. Brown, once again. That's going to be quite interesting to see. Hopefully no fights develop out of that practice whatsoever, because we know the prima donna Brown is. Hopefully he doesn't get his feelings hurt, but we'll just see exactly what occurs from that. But that's going to do it for this Eagles chat. The Birds unfortunately dropped their first preseason game. There was lots of sloppiness, but as well, in that sloppiness, there was still some good positivity that came away from it. We'll see what occurs next week against New England. That's all for me, Vincent Focht. And as always, you already know, go Birds! Have a good rest of your week, everybody. We'll be back here to cover preseason game number 2.